Greetings, greetings, greetings. You are now tuned into the vault. Trust Christian, know nothing, control everything. Just want to thank you for tuning in live or listening to the replay. Always appreciate everybody that tunes in live or listens in the replay. You have a ton of people that still listen to the vault live, and we have a ton of people that listen to the vault as in the replay. So this is Vault episode 180, Roaring 2020's. And this is just so apropos for the moment that we're in history, knowing that today is April Fool's, the first day of April 2020. And just really excited and thankful that, we can do this episode. So uh, appreciate everybody for tuning in live or listening to the replay. Wanted to do an episode today uh, about what's considered this moment in time in history where uh, you know when we look across the board as a whole, we see people from a perspective of, okay, some things have just changed in the world, some things have changed in the economy, and I don't understand, or people would say, I don't understand Christian, trust Christian, how is it the roaring, how is it starting off far, it looks like it just went into a slump. It was the roaring 2020s. We started out on fire, all time highs. And then we hit February. And then after February, yeah. So it was 1 month, 1 month of strong, and then maybe a month and a half. The marketplace, the game changer, the difference that makes the difference has made a difference in people's lives. So this episode is dedicated to the excitement of what we have going on uh, in the private uh, or even in the public, or even in the public. We appreciate, uh, the continued people just knowing that, hey, look, where are the opportunities at right now in the roaring 2020s? Where are the opportunities? Let's talk about the opportunities. The opportunities, cash is king. We wanted to establish that for so long. So many people say, what do you mean cash is king? Still to this day, ladies and gentlemen, people are seeing things, what they call freedoms. Free, if they're not being taken away, they're being consented. Freedoms. That's what we talk about in the vault, in the private sector right now. The roaring 20s is who has the capital, has the freedom to move. The roaring 2020s says, okay, you got the freedom to move and you also have the capital. Americans were supposed to be saving for this moment. They knew that this moment was coming. What did they say? Well, there has to be a recession. There has to be a reset in the market at one point. Why not? I mean, why would it not be? It was at all-time highs. People knew this. They said, oh, the market's at all-time highs. You knew this. But what happened? The fog of war. People got satiated. So we see in the private sector, people are investing right now. People say it was good to hold in the housing market, and they feel very comfortable in those positions. We see people actually still building right now. Still building is going on for residential properties on sites. And so the roaring 20s is here. When you say, how is it roaring 20s? Well, they're still building properties, multi-unit dwellings right now in the States. So business is being done. The roaring 20s, 2020s, we should say, is, where we want to joke about this immediately because so many people are starting these online health businesses. When health business was kicking 5 to 10 years ago, where were you? Now you see more channels of people doing their homemade special sauce workout on a yoga mat in front of a computer screen. So we see the marketplace has changed in the states where people are inside of shelter and are literally doing workouts. The health market is booming. People are buying more healthcare products, period. The roaring 2020s for the healthcare business. As it stands once again. We didn't say big pharma yet, but we said roaring 20s, 2020s for the Dr. Sabies of the world. So we're able to say, Sabi's daughters, their website or dietary resolutions, .com. Those are people that, we support because we know the truth. Their business is booming. If we wanted to pay back an ancestor, you pay an ancestor back by paying the family that created a solution to a problem. And there's families that have created solutions to problems that people are feeling right now. A lack of financial education. So if it's a lack of financial education, what happens to people such as a Robert Kiyosaki? What does he do? Does he go down in history as a guy that, I put out a book and a game and it helped out millions? Oh, right. Or people around the world playing it millions? You have other guys like Dan Pena that have taught people how to make billions. And they're doing it right now. What fields are we doing it in right now? It's one of those things you sit back and you laugh. You laugh and you kick yourself because so many people say, well, if I knew the information 5 years ago, or if I knew the information 10 years ago, well, the information has been here for 5 to 10 years. The markets have been very flat. Easy markets are consumer markets. Consumer markets are where people are buying products over the internet. They're buying products over the internet. They're buying services over the internet. Once again, people are either getting free workouts right now or they're paying to get worked out through the video chat right now. In the States and some part of Europe and other parts of the world. The roaring 2020 looks like, do you have a health business put in position? Is it online servicing? We were actually really impressed the other day. We saw a young lady. She actually had a protein shake. So she had like very massive thighs, and she invented a protein shake. So you think about it. If you're working out and you're ordering products online, her protein shake might come across. That obviously means increased sales. Specifically, if you know how to use internet marketing, which that individual may know how to use. I'm sure they're in the middle of a roaring 2020 for themselves because people are at home, people are buying products. So as we continue to move forward on what businesses are roaring, people say, "Oh, I'm going to open up a business. I've been thinking about a business. I thought about a health business." For so many that thought about a health business, saw a young lady open up a business that literally has a protein shake. And so we see businesses popping up, on a consumer level. And so since we see them popping up on a consumer level, we're seeing once again services pop up. We're seeing products pop up, and not just products now. We can get past products. We can say, okay, it's not just about products, or service. We're getting into big business now, not just small businesses, but big business. When we talk about, we're sitting around guys that definitely still feel like, farming is a great area to go into right now. We see a high demand for people going into the farming industry, even though farming is obviously smoted in the states. It definitely has, some people would definitely say it almost has minimal value, but farming on a small local agricultural level to keep stores replenished when times of this times hit, when you see the hit in the marketplace, well, grocery stores are still winning. That's a necessity business. So when people say, "Oh, I want to start a business," you're going to definitely see more local food co-ops, more local food distribution, but we're going to see bigger business dominate that marketplace. Bigger business meaning with fertilizer, with pesticides, with farming equipment, and as well with seeds. They're literally, if ladies and gentlemen, the roaring 2020s looks like the seed game has been in it. We've been aware of the seed game since 2013. So seeds are where money is being allocated to go out and grow. And we've come across where it's fragmented. So it's always beautiful to come across an industry that is fragmented, that has the opportunity for massive amounts of growth and opportunity. So really excited about that. When we talk about the roaring 2020s, we talked about the agriculture and how the shift is going can go from mass now to more of a local because there's a demand on the everyday necessity now, not on the massive consumption of not putting it on food and being in house and doing something within which demands more on the grocery. There's more consumption of grains. There's more consumption of obviously fresh goods. There's a demand, and there's been a surge because of people hearing or seeing information. They feel as though it's something that they have to go do. Sort of like a shock test is buying toilet paper. That's a shock test. Oh, the first thing we need is that. No. And so that's a shock test. But when we talk about the roaring 2020s, those companies went up. So if you were buying and holding, or if a person was holding their stock in those companies, they were winning now. They took a massive surge in their income and their lifestyle in the past 3 weeks, past month. So we see where capital is being allocated. Capital is definitely being allocated or was being allocated to paper companies, but we even see subset companies right now shifting their production to cater towards which is pretty much like a marketing play. It's like, okay, it's like someone's going to put in their title of their podcast, or they're going to put in their title of whatever they're doing, quarantine, or put the name of the virus and things of that nature, so they can get likes and hits. We're in the marketing play, so now people are making money off of the marketing play. They're making money off of that. They're generating capital, whether it's long-term play with health products, or whether it's even short-term play with healthcare products. But people are making capital off of the short-term play. Period. It's a marketing play. And so people are definitely making money off that marketing play. Whether it's their home workout program, whether it's their food program, whether it's their health products right now, whether it's people that have grocery stores. But we can say there are industries that have taken direct hits. We are very aware of these industries that have taken direct hits. Most of the people that listen to the Vault know what industries have taken direct hits because of the shift in social awareness, social consciousness. It's sort of like, yeah, we can see a lot of disturbance in the human role, and we can see what's the difference between public and private. See, when people come to the vault, they say, why is it still a vault? Because something that's in the vault gets locked up. It's what you talk about behind closed doors. So it's the vault. And the vault knows that when we talk about the roaring 2020s, we're talking about people in the stock market trading. That's why we're holding that trading webinar on the 12th. And it's online. Why? Because put it like this, there are people benefiting in the market right now. Now, you can become a trader, people can become traders and actually know how to do that or not. And so, Christian at Trust Christian, we also put the post on the actual YouTube channel, um, Christian at trustchristian.com, and then you can do the email. But the Roaring 2020s will get you over to Cornell. for that webinar. Those webinars are private. We talked about that stuff with Cornell right now. We here to grow for every single day. Um, and that's the beautiful thing right now is there. It's a very very important moment for us to be focused on creating what people consider oh, I want to stay at home money. You know, what's interesting is I think so many people think, well, the internet is fake. It's sort of like me, the internet's fake. Okay, so the internet's fake, whereas when you meet people face to face and you see people such as Cornell's aunt, this older lady, she's easily over 50 years old. Just, this is his aunt, so she's old. And to be able to make six figures in 2 months is beautiful. You say, oh man, what do you mean? And I thought about that this morning because I thought about the fact that what did he say she did? She took him serious. She saw what he was doing and she went back and studied and went in and did what was necessary for her. And it was interesting because he said she didn't really call a lot, which is interesting, because the people that study usually don't call a lot. And it was just interesting, to see that mentality. And we see so many say, "Oh, I want to stay at home, um, and this is the time, the trading webinar. If not that, the education time." So many people they say, "Oh, you're doing the webinar. Why are you guys doing it? Are you doing it because of the times?" It's by request for the times. Otherwise, institutional, ladies and gentlemen. And when we talk about institutional, so when we talk about institutional, we mean just that. And I think people don't that when it comes to the trading, that's self-sufficiency, that's self-reliance. So many people we see in the community are all over the world living their lives. And now we're moving into the sessions where, okay, outside of that, what are we doing? What are we holding? We talked about businesses. You know, 7-Elevens are still open. We're talking about the times right now because so many people say I wanted to make a transition. 2020 is a great year to do it because things have lined up. Things are in a position where, hey, why not? We're in a position where there is a change of marketplace. That's just the bottom line, period. So some people say, oh, well, I'm in the, people say they're in the financial services industry or they're in the grocery industry or they're in the mail industry, they're in private mailing or, they're in car servicing industry. There are gas station industry. There are industries, food people it's interesting because restaurants are still making it a point to do their best to generate capital through takeout right now, which is interesting. You see the marketplace shift where it shows like, wow, we don't need the front end anymore. The front end is not necessary. We can use automation. We're going to force more people to use online technology and order their food, or uh, they'll come to the store, they're going to come get it and still walk out. There won't be, oh, a need for someone to come in and take their order and sit down, make them wait for 30 seconds longer than what they wanted to. When people say, oh, it's convenience, it will be more than convenient. Why? I'd rather just get my food and leave. That's how the generation is going to be easily shock test to move. And it's interesting because that has been the case in major cities where there are a lot of not necessarily restaurants, but fast food chains. And even still, when we look at some of the major players that serve coffee and food, they actually do have desks that you can walk up to with automated service and literally put in your order and go sit down at a table. And someone will bring the order out to your table. And you literally are just sitting there with a card or a number, and they're literally bringing the food and walking away with the number. And so, sure, you got your napkins already. Sure, you already got your straws already. I mean, the marketplace for minimal quote unquote contact has already been established. And minimal contact is really interesting because of where the marketplace is. It's like, really? So I thought people were actually bonding through social media. Like, I thought they were bonding in person too. So now that's been eliminated to a degree. We'll say the social precedent has been social distancing. So we're in a marketplace where business is still being conducted. what we call essential businesses, and I'm pretty sure everybody that's listening to the vault wants to know those essential businesses. So when we talk about health, when we talk about the health industry, such as the workouts and the challenges and the exercise equipment and the food that go along with it, even the practitioners of the health, there's been an increase, obviously, in a demand, major stress demand on that part of the population. But we just challenge everybody at the vault to say, everybody wants to talk about maybe even what's essential right now, like, oh, that's still open, that's still open, that's still open. How about people actually go to maybe even the other side and say, what has been eliminated? Because what has been eliminated, we cannot depend on to come back. And guess what that was, ladies and gentlemen? That's called human capital. Human capital has been slacking in the States for a while. It needed a reset for the price. Americans were very overly paid. Their dollar was strong. Their dollar still strong. And they were being paid outrageous sums of money to do things that, hey, they almost would. They're not happy. Americans didn't want pensions anymore. You look across the board, a lot of traditional companies don't have pensions. They don't have 401ks. A lot of companies, when we talk about a lot of companies, we're not talking about the top 50 on the Fortune 500. We're talking about the bottom ones, quote unquote, of the 500 companies in the S&P 500. Guess what? Not all of those companies have pensions and 401ks. Those companies have changed their models. When we see corporate America today, when we talk about corporate America or even work jobs, we've just established what's considered non-essential and essential. That's a new type of technological term that people might not be used to. That's a technological term. Like social distancing, it's a technological term. You're able to know that you're supposed to be away from someone through technology, social media, through the media, through the channels on the internet. And so now that we see the shift in the technology is being developed. Hopefully, we can jumpstart this and really get their law that they come up with about how technology, like accelerates every 18 months or something like that. It's like, sure, well, medical development is at an all-time high. It's not, oh, can we not see that? We can see that. Whether it's the preventive care, whether it's the recovery care. There's a high there. I remember back in the day dealing with a durable medical equipment company. It's so interesting that that's one of the best moments in life was being able to be with the durable medical equipment company because it was a competitive environment. And you see that they were actually being provided capital via the government through people that had medical equipment through Medicaid or Medicare, those programs. They literally were being funded. It was like, wow, these guys, they almost have like they have a subsidized business almost. And it's interesting. And those businesses are a part of the roaring 2020s right now. Gloves, durable medical equipment, ladies and gentlemen. People say, where is the money? How do I get the money? Banks are still open. That's an essential business. Businesses are being funded. We see this on all fronts. Well, I don't know if I have the skill to do that. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? LinkedIn is one of the best websites out there on the internet to find quote unquote corporate professionals that want to expand and sit on other boards of other companies and grow. Right now, we see a major expansion in. Um, we definitely saw, we talked about this on the vote about cybersecurity, but when it comes to any traditional internet product, anything involving with the internet, not just on the consumer side of marketing, but when we uh, see government contracts going out for, uh, internet technology, we always have to classify it as internet technology because there is some form of protection, some form of storage, some form of reciprocation in that relationship when it comes to the equipment. Whether it's the equipment, whether it's the software, whether it's the hardware, we see that there are people that are growing companies that are actually giving aid to the times right now. Um, in the IT perspective, and the IT perspective was already allowing people to work from home via their laptop. I mean, the people from the working from home laptop has been around since the 80s and 70s, like IBM. When IBM would allow people to take their work home with them. So remember you had homework in school? Well, it's called that now. Homework. So people are very familiar with the term homework. So they're working from home. IBM has been doing it for over 30 to 40 to maybe 50 years. These companies have been on the internet. Major corps have been on the internet and they have been prepared for people that want to sit at home and learn code and learn how to code over the internet, provide code over the internet, provide different merchant services over the internet, come up with code is definitely going to be a great one. That's why you see so much appropriation for STEMs or what they call it STEAMs now. There's so much appropriation for that. The roaring 2020s is looking good for people that want to take advantage of the times. People that want to hunker down and get busy on the highest priority right now, which is ensuring your family's quote unquote financial future. Some people have taken a back seat for a long time, and now people have said, okay, I want to take more control. We're going to just tell you sincerely what a marketplace is. We saw people that were working jobs, ladies and gentlemen, and now they're doing part time Postmates. They're doing part time Uber Eats. There are people that they weren't even doing that a month ago, and they're doing that. They might have did one of those part time services, but now they're doing multiple of those services. And this is what happened. People went more into a sole proposition. Some people didn't do the LLC. So we got some people that say, oh, they're doing the LLC. So we say, okay, well, if you got the LLC or the C Corp, did you put that in place on the documents where you're receiving capital? Or are you doing business in the proper capacity? And that's when you see the dumbfounded look on their face because they didn't. And they're like, no, I didn't know I could do that because I did the company after I started doing the service. So it's like, well, just let them know you need to update the records. You're the boss, right? What happened to all my friends that they had MBAs and they were working? Where are they now? They didn't have businesses. They were working. They had an MBA though. I'm pretty sure those are the college grads with the MBAs are literally sitting on the internet selling people education right now. We're gonna sell you education. Not they're not selling financial education. They're selling education. Let me show you how to do this, show you how to do that. And we understand at the vault, people may say that about the trading webinar or trustee training, but it's one of those bills as well, laws as well. You get what you pay for. People always come to the vault, how much is it? It's worth what your liability's worth. Not how many times do you have the liability? How often do you have liabilities? Because assets to protect cost capital. Whether it's human capital or financial capital, it's capital. And so when we look at these things, we can see there's a shift in the marketplace. There's the human capital demand has said there's been a bust down. Okay, so if we could call it a shakedown, but that sounds a little bit more strong armed, but it's called a strong arm too. But we're gonna call it a shakedown. So in a shakedown, you get rid of the fat. It's sort of like we'll give shout out to one of the so-called greatest CEOs of our time. His name is Lee Iacocca. Lee Iacocca pretty much was what ran Coke and GE pretty much. I'm thinking it was GE. Lee Iacocca was known for the classic term of ranking yank. So he goes around, he meets you when they're buying you out, he shakes all your employees' hands, and then they go through and they do a measurement system. And then we get rid of the highest paid non essential employees. Well, who's the most expensive employees in the world? Americans are. You're not going to America and say, hey, we're getting bottom dollar work prices. No one's trying to outsource to the States. Who's outsourcing to the States? They cost too much. They act like they're building A-class products. Well, they got like a Ford Tough. They got a Harley Davidson. I mean, they got a lot of American products that are bought internationally that are huge, that have long-standing product brands and things of that nature, like quality brands that come from the States. And so that's where we are now. The ranking yank just happened in society. There's a ranking yank. People that are supposedly make over a certain amount don't even get entitlements. That's great. And then we get down to the question of what the bosses sit in the room and have to talk about right now with the other men, with the other partners. So we talk to not only once again, ladies and gentlemen, there are industries that are still working right now. So we already heard the phone calls from the financial industry. They're doing what they're growing. So if there's a shift, there needs to be a shift in mindset, and it's sad that it came so fast upon people, because even if their savings was going to last, sure, your savings was going to last, but when we talk about cash flow, see, this is where Robert Kiyosaki has been talking about cash flow for 20 years. He talks about cash flow. He's not talking about paycheck. And so, it's easy to say that the American populace or the population has been focused on paycheck. And so paycheck has just not paid off. It never paid off because it's not a payoff. And the payoff has come in the form of entitlements. Entitlements. The next one is, oh, we need some cash because you encouraged me to not create cash flow. Who didn't encourage you to create cash flow? Who didn't encourage you to create cash flow and assets? Everyone says, oh, I went to school. What happened to me? Yeah, what happened to you? Do you have cash flowing assets right now? Because if you don't have cash flowing assets, where's the financial education? Might have a lot of degrees, a doctorate, might have might have all types of education. But what is essential is cash flowing. And what is cash flowing? That's where the marketplace ended up. Oh wow, I thought I had a good education. Well, the sooner the faster you get over that part, you're gonna get to where the products are cash flowing, the services are cash flowing, and you can get back to business. This isn't time to be saying that, but hey, we'll hear that one because we've heard it a lot. And then we hear once again the message of we're trying. We need to know how to maneuver right now. There are if there's an entitlement for 75K and under, that means they're the most hurt. So 75K under looks like this. From statistics, ladies and gentlemen, they say the average American, they said, first of all, America was supposedly in a negative savings rate. You can go to these statistical websites and look at this type of information. They're on gov websites. People don't have more than $1,500 saved up in a savings account. Why didn't people have money saved in a savings account under 75K? Because they feel savings account are a waste of time when they're paying .0000 nothing. And people have known this for over 5 years, over 10 years, over however long they just felt like, man, I'm not putting my money in a savings account. It's no way that this is going to grow. It's not going to grow. What the heck is it's less than 1% growing? Oh, okay. So you get people that work up and then they might go get a CD from a bank or they might get a money market account, $5,000, $10,000. That's the savings mark, ladies and gentlemen, in the States. 5,000, 10,000, those are CDs at banks. Okay, where is that marketplace right now? We see the marketplace. Can people cash out of those things? We see the marketplace shift where, even to see that the stock exchange is willing to allow people to work from home shows that computers are in. Maybe they just need high speed, faster internet, but trading can be facilitated from home. Markets are being traded. They are showing that, hey, we need to find another way to generate capital because clearly we were already benefiting from having the internet. And that's what the businesses that were on the internet are benefiting from the platform. It's called positioning. What position is people in? What position are people in? And the position is right now entitlements. And the winners are going to win, and the losers are going to ask for a band-aid. This isn't a 2-month problem. It's a lifelong problem. It's not a one-time deal. It's a multiple-time deal. So sad people wanted it to be a pill. The one time. This isn't the one time. People would love to believe it's the one time. Why? Well, let's just look at this. First of all, the last recession, if you're alive and you're over 18, you've lived through was in 2008 and 9. That was called a recession. You lived through that. What do you mean? That wasn't the same situation. It looks like that right now because you're in it. Sometimes when you're in the fire, it's hard to see you're on fire. You don't see yourself on fire, you just are. You're in a burning building right now. Most people are in burning buildings. That's why they're going to try to get someone to help them out. Someone. See, they're asking for help. They're not creating. We're talking about creating versus being given an entitlement. That's against natural law. But hey, man, I gotta get this money for my family. You know what I mean? I gotta make sure they eat. You know what I mean? I can't believe. I'm non-essential. You know what I mean? You're what? Okay. So the marketplace right now, the marketplace has changed, and I love it. The marketplace is only demanding that the strong see this moment, this opportunity, and seize it for all of its worth. You're listening for the opportunities because some people feel like the rug has been pulled out of them, from up under them. They feel like the rug has been pulled from up under. Wow, my life is just completely changed. People's lives around me completely changed. I haven't seen panic yet. You're right, you haven't. And are you prepared? I've never seen this before. It's something not like a movie. Are you prepared? Oh man, I don't really need to take it too serious. Well, that's great. But there are families. We're taking it serious. We've taken it serious. Families that aren't hurting. Families that are prepared. And it's a never-ending process. And we're preparing at this very moment as we've been preparing for this moment. See, this was one of those moments They talk about the devil and how he comes in a thief in the night and all this craziness. That's what happened right there. That was a devil thief in the night. And then now, when you hear about a thing called a succubus or a leech, it's a leech. It's a leech. See, at the vault, we talk about making sure you're in control of your mind. Because when you're in control of your mind, you're in control of your results. Well, what do you mean? There's stuff going on outside right now. We know that. We actually want you to come join us in the free world. You hear that? We want you to come join us in the free world. What do you mean? I'm free. I know. We know. And at the vault, we're participating in the free world. Walk around enjoying the sun because you want to live in a sunny place so you can actually still enjoy, quote unquote, God, to go outside and see the sun and not be cloudy every day. And so the migration has already started to the high states. People say, where should I put my business? Statistically, you put them in high states. Why? Because they're moving around. Think about it. They say that colds don't operate well in hot weather. Well, the southern hot places are going to benefit because it might not be there as much, right? That makes a little bit of sense, right? Are we making logical sense? Yeah, because if it doesn't make sense, it won't make dollars, and if it don't make dollars, it won't make sense. Okay. So they're moving to the high states. Yeah. Yeah. People are going to be migrating to the high states. Why? They just gave you the clue that if you in a hot place, is you probably not likely to be involved. Really? No wonder Africa, a lot of the countries over there don't have to deal with stuff like what we talking about. Okay. Summertime. Oh, okay. The times are just where they are. Remember listening to older people when they say, oh, time speeds up as you get older. For losers, the ones that are winning right now, time is on time. And we just look forward to people that contact the vault and that are on time with saying, look, in the cosmos of times we had to pivot for our family. We wanted to take some extra vacations. We wanted to do something with a purpose. We wanted to leave an impact. We wanted to change some things. We didn't want to be at the whim of what would be called the system. We didn't ever want to say that we knew the amount that was going to be given out isn't enough. And we're dependent on that. We're going to sit here for a little bit longer and hopefully wait and sit. There is no waiting. There is no sitting. So we get the families that don't want to wait and sit. We're dealing with the families that say they're going to step up and create. Because of technology, there's been a shift. The shift is people thought, oh, GPS was so good. It was so great. It took away people's ability to really know how to read a map. Well, okay. They're not even going anywhere right now. What do you need GPS for? Guess what? Let me share with you where technology is in developed countries, such as China. Oh, no, actually, let's go to Korea. In Korea, it is reported that because they have cell phones with GPS and tracking system, if you have a cell phone with GPS and tracking system, there was a tracking system in place to make sure if you contracted anything that was ill, they have an alert service with the Gov in your phone now. And they can track if you leave out of the perimeters. Wow. So the question was posed, do you think this is an invasion of privacy? And they said, Well, because the people have consented that it's something for social whatever help. Yeah, sure. They just say, hey, well, they already have a smartphone, so we might as well just go ahead and make sure that we know that we can validate that they're able to be in the public, and that's where the marketplace is. Oh man, I needed a smartphone with the GPS, and I gotta have it on all the time. Well, there you go. So you ask a couple people, hey, look, hey guys, we know that you just got something bad, but we want you to cut on your GPS so we can see that you really are at home. It's just a precaution, a procedure that we want to institute. Can you please help with that? As you sign out of the hospital, as you sign out of the facility, it's a social experiment. Well, he told you they're trying to see how it works. Can you go home and stay with it in your house? Well, guess what? It already happened in Korea. What is the conversation that may be mute against the technology being instituted anywhere that has the technology, or a strategy, we should say, for the technology? People say, where's the capital at? Obviously, there's just capital being shown in internet technology and surveillance. Oh man, hey ladies and gentlemen, guess what? Trust Christian in the vault. We ain't gonna speak on internet surveillance, but internet surveillance has been hot. Internet surveillance been hot for years. It's just the bottom line. Some people will say, oh man, I don't know who's heartless enough to go in there. But if you're heartless enough to go in there, savage enough to go in to internet surveillance, it is a it's more than $1 billion industry. It's $1 trillion industry. It's gonna for sure be that. It's like saying, okay, we're gonna take a company such as a major company such as Apple, and we're not gonna protect and surveil them. For sure, why not? That's called protection. So surveillance is protection, and there's a high demand and a high need for that right now in the marketplace. Oh man, I gotta start a company for surveillance. Yeah, somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to get rich, because guess what? Somebody's gonna do it. They're gonna create an internet surveillance company and get rich right now. It's the easy. We just said it's a billion, a trillion. Where are you gonna put your cup? People say, oh, I'm gonna send my kids to school for communications and marketing. Okay, over the internet. Ladies and gentlemen, there should be a straight, pure, and pivot to the greatest wealth transfer, that the early adopters of the internet. The early adopters have said, hey, we got to figure out this internet thing. People say, oh, they're trying to put a digital currency in place. We finally got to that. Internet's been around, we'll say, for mass quantity after 2000. That was after their bubble. So after their bubble 2000, we get to 2020, and they're just now getting what would be considered a digital currency, where they call it encrypted, where they have proper bookkeeping. Listen to these type of terms that they're saying that are looking to be used. Now we say, well, okay, these companies aren't able to be surveillance. Some of them have opened up their books to be used for the public use. Ripple. We've seen the companies that have positioned themselves. You say, oh man, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? So there's a company that has created a technology for the actual government to, excuse me, for the banks to use. And it's actually a money, what people would consider a digital currency, a money in and of itself, which helps with encryption. They've actually added a new level of research and development in encryption, which, once again, if encryption is pretty much protection, it's the same thing as surveillance. Surveillance and encryption are growing. So we see the marketplace has shifted. Once again, we're in the roaring 2020s, ladies and gentlemen. The marketplace is primed for major capital, big businesses, not just Microsoft, to dominate in their old space. They're a dinosaur at this point, ladies and gentlemen. We've seen that be established. We're looking for new companies that, such as the cryptos, they didn't go anywhere. They're still here. There's a technology play. And people have bet a lot of money on those technology plays at this point because they provide what people call security. People say, "Oh, what do you mean? Well, what's going on with the companies?" It's like, do you remember the internet bubble? That's what happened. It's a bubble. People hear the hype. They think that they're going to get rich off of Y2K, and they don't get rich off of Y2K. That's it. Oh man, what was I supposed to be doing? I thought I was supposed to buy domain names, right? But that's real estate on the internet. We see the technology play card has been thrown down as the ace of spade right now. Once again, oh, well, my business is on the internet or the business is on the internet. Great. You're in a position to win. You're essential outside of groceries, gas, and essentials. Right now, the marketplace is focused on essentials. Oh, wow. Yes. This was meant to be an in-depth episode on really always do our best to talk about the four keys to wealth, but a lot of times right now we're seeing a high demand, which we always see a demand in, which is focused on growth, which is backwards. But people want to be focused on growth right now in their models. We don't see a slowdown in the models right now. Some people say, well, what the public market looks like it just took a hit. Okay, so when that happens in the public market, what do you traditionally call that? How long has the market been sitting down? How long has the market looked the way it's looking in the public? You're very aware of what the public is. So when we talk about the vault, traditionally people come to us to deal with the private. So let's talk about it from that private perspective, which we do. But look at the public. Be very observant of how the public has changed. It's not, and like I say, when we say it's changed, it's not just change for the short term. There are strategies being put in place for this to be the long term. I mean, think about when people go back in the marketplace and they say, "Well, dag, I did have 8 employees, but I only need 6 now." And it's like, really? Did you really need those extra 2 anyways? No, that was opportunity cost loss for preparation for right now. Oh man, I have 50 employees, but I really only needed 28. Are you serious? And then I could part time another 15. It's like that is the marketplace now. There's going to be more and more part time work. We see this, we know this, but are individuals positioning themselves? The positioning is everything. We just want to let you all know that there's a lot of families we associate with at the Vault that are not going to participate in accepting a handout right now. And we just know that there's so many families that are going to ask for that. And we just let you all know, ladies and gentlemen, that that is one of those moments in your life where you have to ask yourself, am I accepting something that I didn't give myself? And it comes to maybe earned, but if it was involved where someone wanted to get something for nothing, and at times it's something for nothing, we just know that there's so many families that want it. They want to get their hands, they're itching. And we sit around families that literally, I mean, ladies and gentlemen, it's so like one of those things when you're eating and you're cleaning out your teeth. They do that noise out the sound of their teeth because they are not looking for it. The private side does not accept the public entitlements. And we see so many that are going to come from the public and that are going to say, I got this from the public. And that's the downfall. Our mentors have prepared us for this moment. And the moment was not to get on your knees and ask another man for an opportunity. Because the opportunities are here regardless of the situation. And now, We see that people may be willing to accept a handout. And we sit around private families. They came through trustee training. They lived it, and they're not taking it. And they know what it is. And I'm just thankful as a senior trustee that I've worked with trustees, that families and businesses and people that's what happens in the real world. You get financially educated because we're in the world where we're dealing with that. And whether it's the trading, whether it's your own business, it's something that says, I'm willing to sit in the it's all on me seat. Because it's always on you. And right now, we just want to do the episodes for the people that are out there that are really on it right now. Because I know, deal with Cornell, he actually had quite a few people actually emailing him about some of the trustee stuff. And so, yeah, so definitely want to thank everybody for tuning in live. And, with Cornell, we definitely making it a point to give people that information because they have wanted to come forth. And it's not even just that. I see that as a massive opportunity for a lot of people because we see that happening right now where there were people that were planning to retire anyways this year that we were hanging around, and they're like they're pushed on the river now. They were on the river of denial, and then they went to, okay, now we're on a Nile. We're flowing the right way. And they're prepared. They got a canoe. They're rowing their boat. Right now, people are rowing their boat around getting things done, and some people are sitting around as if time has stopped. Time has not stopped. Time does not stop for any man or woman. Well, maybe people have taken a short period of they took a 2 week vacation and then turned it into what people might go into is called a summer. It was a spring break, literally. The whole daggone second quarter has been lost. And the marketplace, when we talk, ladies and gentlemen, when we're in the private and we talk about market sentiment, guess what market sentiment is? The banks. Are they closed? Do you hear the banks out of business right now? Do you hear banks not being essential? How are banks operating with your money right now? Oh, hold on, what? They're operating with my money? I need to hold on to that. I need to make it through this situation. I gotta make it through this. I gotta make sure. I gotta make sure. Okay. So what you gonna do? I'm gonna call them. I'm gonna look. Here's a good inside joke. There are asset managers, but we don't call them that on the private side. But on the public side, they call them financial advisors. These guys, literally, we've heard stories. Guess what? You've heard these stories. You know these stories. Let's act like we don't know these stories. We know these stories. Here we go. Here's the story. Yeah, man, financial advisor lost quite a few people, a couple $100,000, multi-million dollars over the past couple weeks because of the situation. Right. So they lost all of this capital over the past couple weeks, blah, blah, blah. Did anybody cash out of their position? Whatever they got left? Nope. They're still in there holding in like a champ. Oh, man, I lost 40%. I might as well stay in here because I know it's going to go back. They give you whatever illogical logic that makes sense to what's considered a retail investor. That's the marketplace. Here we go. The roaring 2020's. There was a handout introduced. And hey, some people want a small portion. And some people say, well, I'm going to just get it because I can. Let's talk to the ones that get it because they can. Those are the ones that I know they like Trust Christian when we were younger. I'm going to just get it because I can. Guess what? That was too lazy to even try it. was too lazy to even try to get a handout. For sure. Every time. Where we got to go? Oh, you got to go to this office. Yeah, you got to go to the office. Yeah, you got to fill out this form. We need to know all this information. What? I got a number. Cut me a check. Nah, we need you to apply for it. You don't even just opt in automatic. It's no everybody. We're making sure that certain ones get it. Okay. Do you qualify? Well, I mean, I'm under it, possibly. Then we got the slicksters on nothing, control everything. Ladies and gentlemen, guess what? No. Just because the Vaults own nothing, control everything, doesn't mean the Vaults going in and getting a quick handout because the hand is open, it looks good, and well, you're own nothing, control everything, so you ain't got a job, so you can go ahead and get the money, right? That's what it looks good to the broke people. The people that say, I'm even willing to think about that little bit of money. What do you mean? I mean, it's something. I know. Here we go. See how we hear the lines? We're talking to the ones that might even think they can just because they can. And ladies and gentlemen, senior trustees have prepared us for this moment. They told us that a tsunami was coming. They told us a tidal wave was coming. Some people say, what do you mean, man? I thought it was going to be the stock market. I thought it was going to be a stock market crash. I thought it was going to be that. What do you mean? Did you not look at the past month? Did you not look at the past? Have you, this is what's going on. It's called divine providence. It's a divine moment. It was meant to happen, right? Yeah, well, a lot of stars lined up at this very moment. Yep, stars lined up too. And now we see what just happened. Now, are you watching? Or are you out here making sure that you're on the plus side of this situation? People say, oh, it's going to pass. You're right. 2008 passed. A lot of people were, the sky is falling out of the sky. In 2008, a lot of people were falling sky out of the sky in 2000. Those are, we could call them a pandemic, but they're just bad thinking, and that's in the world. So here we go. We're at another moment. It's crunch time. You're in the huddle. The family was supposed to have already called the play. Guess what? If you know anything about American sports or football and you listen to American football, you'll understand the analogy. But it's a 2-minute play for Tom Brady right now. The Tom Bradys are going to come out of the society, and everybody else is going to be the opposing opponent of Tom Brady. See, if anyone's thinking about making it out of this situation with the roaring 2020s, literally roaring for their families, they're Tom Brady right now for their family. Oh, man, what do you mean? That means you got to get in the huddle. Yeah, okay, we in the huddle. We in the house right now. Yeah, and then we're calling the play. Okay, well, yeah, we called the play. We been called the play. We had to go back into the huddle. Okay, but no. Guess what? The game is still being played. We called the timeout. That's legal. Okay, that's fair. You're right. We called a timeout. Yes, we called a timeout. We said we have to have a conversation real quick. Okay, bam, that's called the huddle. So we can only do one huddle and before we have to go back out. We can't call 2 timeouts back to back. Okay, that's fair. We heard about that. Well, you can't. Okay, I hear that. We can't do a timeout back to back. No, it doesn't work that way. The other team can call a timeout, but we can't call a timeout. Okay, that's fair. Guess what? Now we're back on the field. Guess what? The wide receiver, they on Instagram. The running backs, they on TikTok. The tight ends, they on Facebook. All right, my center, I need my center right now to snap me the ball. Guess where they at? They on another social site. What do you mean? I'm the quarterback. We're supposed to be calling the play because we're supposed to be scoring a touchdown. We're supposed to be winning the game. That's the whole purpose of the game. It's to win the game. We're not out here not to win the game. Life is a game. Life is going to go on. We've established that. Yes. Okay, so now we're playing the game. What do you mean? We're playing the game. No, we're not. We're in a huddle. Look at your wide receiver. Don't worry about him. He ain't ready to play. He's in the huddle. He's scrolling in the huddle. Okay, the running back, they're scrolling in the huddle. Oh, what about the tight end? Scrolling in the huddle. What about the center? Scrolling in the huddle. All right, hold on, hold on. It's a lot of people scrolling right now. How many people are playing? Well, actually, the front line is not scrolling. They're still blocking for you. They're in the position. They're doing what they needed to do. Guess what that actually is called? Your alignment might actually be called your money. How much money you have. That's a defense. If you have money, you can stave out starvation and hot and cold weather. You got the money to pay the bills. That's where we're at nowadays. If you have the money, hopefully electricity don't go out. So then you gotta what? You gotta make sure that you can pay the bills. Cause guess what just happened? It wasn't a human situation that just happened. It was a financial situation that just happened. What do you mean? There was a wealth transfer. We've already discussed this. That's what just happened. It's not a human situation. Okay, but we're trying to protect our health, right? Right. Okay. Well, okay. What do you think just got eliminated? It wasn't financial capital. It was human capital. They were shown that they are non-essential. What do you mean? You remember the technology that you love? It's actually going to replace those jobs. Well, maybe not in my lifetime. Bet on it. Okay, so what do you mean? Okay, here's the play again. You were in the huddle. Life was going well. We were calling plays. People were doing well. These type of things supposedly are going to happen where health situations are going to come and people are going to have to address these situations as a social group correctly. Okay, that's fair. But guess what? There was a shift in people's lifestyle. Okay, and guess what? Some people are not going to benefit from this moment. And so there are people that are going to benefit from this moment. And we want to encourage as many as we can that can benefit from this moment. The roaring 2020s. So your family's on the roaring 2020 space. Not on the, man, that was the 2020 recession. That was the 2020 reset recession. No, it's not supposed to be that. Because there's essential businesses that our families should be positioned in. And we can never hold too many strong positions, but clearly there's been shown that a lot of families have held weak positions. Oh man, what do you mean? I was just working a job, I was doing what I was supposed to be doing, and they say I can't work. Okay, so what are you doing now? The millionaires have multiple positions. What are you? You're identifying yourself as not having multiple positions, not just having $1 million. You're identifying yourself as not having multiple positions to win. What they say? Oh, you got too many irons in the fire. Well, that is proven that most people don't. So the shift has happened. The multi-talented will win rather quickly. They'll adapt. The leaders and the pioneers are going to take risk. They're going to create things that haven't even been created yet. Why? Because people are creating right now, and that's what's important. There are parts of the population that have been spurred to create. Once again, we've had a 40% plus increase in emails and consultations because people are taking matters into their own hands with their business and their families, and they're taking it serious. We used to always ask trustees that came through here to say, oh man, people just don't take their family serious. I'm like, how you going to say that about people? What do you mean? They don't take their family serious. He said, and we hear the trustees that go through that have family members that they're taking care of family members. That's the difference, is when people are taking care of family members, and that's a difference maker. So we're really happy to be a part of that association, that company, and keep it. But it's really exciting to see that. And that's where we're at. What if it's time for you to be that alpha male, the alpha female for your family, and go out and be Tom Brady? Tom Brady is arguably the best NFL quarterback because the guy just he didn't crack under the pressure. And it's sort of like LeBron James. I guess a lot of people like LeBron because he's made it to a lot of games. You got to make it to the championship. We're at the championship moment. This is the championship moment. This is the defining moment in people's lives, whether they're going to be a victim or they're going to be a victor. And there are people that are going to still think that they can be a victor by accepting the cheat. The accepting. It's everybody has watched Gladiator. And you know what happens when he fights against the king at the end. The king pokes him in his side. He poked him in his side to make him weak. So he couldn't kill. He knew what was going to happen. He had to poke him in his side. Everybody knows about who gets poked in the side. The kings and the queens get poked in the side. The families that stand up for something get poked in the side. We know about that spot. Getting poked in the side. That's classic across scripture. And it's the moment right now where hopefully men and the woman don't get poked in the side. What about the first check? I should get the first one, right? Hey, look. He didn't stab him one time. He stabbed him a few times. He hit him with the poke, poke, poke. He got poked. This is where we are in the world today. And are we going to be who we're supposed to be? It sounds good over the internet, right? Right. Guess what? We're in an essential business. We're in essential businesses at the Vault. We've shared that with you all. That's why it's if the private is the business sector and the public is the gov, then the private sector is doing just fine. Well, what do you mean? We saw company stocks go down. Those are public companies. They launch public stocks and stuff like that. Where the private companies, remember the essential companies, the essential companies. Remember? The essential companies. Oh man. But I'm trying to start a business over the internet, I don't know, especially the ladies out here. A lot of the ladies want to start businesses. Oh, I'm trying to start a business out here. I'm trying to do some girly products. Ladies and gentlemen, go look at the stats. You have to do research on your business. Go see how beauty products have gone up. There are more women sitting at home trying to take care of themselves and make sure they look good than anything. Go look at the industry that you're looking to be in. How is it changed? What is the essential part of it doing to make money right now? Because if it's not making dollars, then it don't make sense to be in the industry. The marketplace has changed once again. We're in the roaring 2020s. If an individual or a family's not looking at it like that, they already got wiped out. There's no, oh, I'm gonna take a break for 2 months and think that the world's coming to an end and then get back to work. Sure, it doesn't work that way, ladies and gentlemen. That's just being honest with you. It doesn't work that way. It's no. When's the last time you took that mental break? When's the last time you took that physical break? When was the last time? And if you haven't taken that, then this obviously shows you that this is abnormal. And usually, when it's something that's abnormal, that actually means that it's time for a change in your life. When people say, "Oh, I'm going through a midlife crisis," this is one of those moments for the country. The country is going through a midlife crisis, and guess what? The internet hasn't taken a hiccup. It's not belching. The internet is getting fat. Really? Business isn't tied to a geographical location anymore? Wealth isn't tied to a geographical location? No. There are countries that are operating just fine. So we're on the internet, so we can go back to the ones that are wanting to be on the internet. I don't know if I got to launch this business on the internet. How long is it going to take me? How long is it going to cost me to get the website put up? I don't know anything about the website. I don't know anything about payment system. But guess what? You knew the bank was still open because we made you aware of that. Oh, yeah, that's right. So you can go open up the business and get things going on. Oh, okay, okay. Back to the point of okay, I gotta get the website going. I gotta make sure it's operating as a real business. You're right. You gotta do those things. Okay, and now you're in business. Okay, you're taking control. Okay. How important is that word to you? So many people used to come up with us and they'd be like, I'm a control freak. How does that not work right now? It has to work right now. Because if you're not in control, if you feel like you're sitting with your hands under your butt and waiting for the next no news flash to give you the midnight news so you can wake up and prepare for the storm when you see it's rain clouds out tomorrow. Oh man, I didn't know the news for the weather. Guess what? There's a thing called the Farmer's Almanac. The Farmer's Almanac almost tell you what the chances of rain is for the past 100 years. What do you mean? What do you mean, Trust Christian? The Farmer's Almanac? Yes, that's the weather news. Oh man, the roaring 2020s, 2020's. The game has changed, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in live for sure. Thank you for listening this far in the replay. We do this episode for you all. We're still moving around. The marketplace hasn't sat us down. We're in the essential industry. We keep telling y'all that. So if you hear that that's where we're at, where do you want to be positioned at? Essential or non-essential? And the internet is still essential. It's not that it's not non-essential. Some people say, oh man, I'm going to launch an internet business in the wake of the situation right now. Yes, you're going to launch an internet business in the wake of the situation right now. That's where we're at, ladies and gentlemen. We just want to point out to you all what's going on right now from the Vault's perspective and how we're living through this moment, just like everyone else. And when it comes down in history, these 2 to 3 months, these 5 months, these 6 months, these 7 months, these 8 months, people gonna look back on it and they gonna say, "Wow, that just happened." And how much richer did my family get? So is it see that's an extreme conversation. Oh, how rich did your family get? What about the families that didn't make it? We gotta hear that one, right? Oh, so we're gonna hear the people that said, oh, you know, I lost my job and I just I didn't want to position myself and nothing else. I really don't even want to take responsibility. Really? Okay. So we appreciate dealing with the people that reach out that want to be in more control and they see that and they know that and they're doing it. And that's where we are nowadays. So enjoy you all's day. Make it a point to create. And we will hear from you, Christian at trustchristian.com. We got Cornell's webinar coming up. I mean, we're doing essentials right now over here at the Vault. So even with the webinars and stuff, we've done trustee workshops already during the so-called virus already, and we're good to go. We're it's behind us now, and we're still moving forward. With the Vault and trustee training and everything. We're moving forward. People reach out all the time, and we see the demand. We see where the marketplace is shifted, and we just make it a point to be there in some essential way, we should say, because at the end of the day, like we said, we hear a lot of people say, oh, they lost quite a bit of money in their savings or their investment accounts, but they're not totally wiped out, and they're still sitting on capital, still sitting in positions, and that's interesting to see that people are still sitting in those positions, and they're not they can talk about one part of the times, but and then they'll acknowledge the other part and say, well, how does that really affect me? It's like, well, it just affected your 401k, it just affected your savings, it affected your retirement, and it affected your lifestyle. Oh yeah, well, that's what we're talking about here. And so We see that the marketplace has changed, and we just encourage everyone to kind of be a part of the benefit of the Roaring 2020s, and not be a part of the, oh, I'm looking for the handout real quick. You know what I mean? Because it's owed to me, it's due to me. And at the end of the day, you know, it's something for nothing. And, no one wants to speak out on it. And it's not speaking out on anything. It's just sharing, you know, everyone knows that you have a choice to, get something. And we just know so many, that we don't know too many at the vault, but we hear through the grapevine that people's whole teams and families are collaborating, corroborating to get their handout. And this wasn't the time to do that. A lot of people say, "Oh, what do you mean? Do you see what happened?" I'm like, we know, but guess what? Essentials are not missing; they're growing. Adapt to the marketplace rather quickly, soldier, because we're at a financial war right now. Really? Yes, we're on the battlefield. That's the bottom line, and you know that every day. Time, energy for money, and now where are we? People say, "Oh, passive has been around for a long time." Passive's been around since the beginning. It's having other people work for you, whether it's for free or whether it's for a high premium. The game has changed. We look forward to hearing from your emails, so we know people definitely, want to get it done, and we look forward to working with so many new families. Just in advance to let you all know, and you know, we already know, ladies and gentlemen, we'll give you the downside. There's going to be quite a few people that get mowed over like grass. They're going to get mowed, and you know this. And if you're conscious to know that people are going to get mowed, hopefully you know not to get mowed over. But this is a mow over moment. Mow over is because we're a month in, and people are, you can hear the conversation and the thought of accepting a handout, a conversation of we need. And when you hear those conversations, you know, there's a trimming going on. When you say, oh, okay, well, what happened? I thought they were going to work and help. Ladies and gentlemen, don't fall for a mow over. It's called a mow over for a reason. It doesn't cut all of the fat off. It only manicures part of the grass. It's going to still look clean and chopped up. We saved as many as we could. And it's mowed over. We will go on in the cosmos of time. And where will your family be? Where will they be positioned? Will you be Johnson & Johnson? Will you be families like Clorox right now? Will you be families like the Waltons? Or will you be mowed over? Appreciate you for tuning in live or listening to replay. Always appreciate the live listeners for listening this far. You guys mean so much. And just feel free to share with your friends and family. Christian that trust Christian, get a group consultation. Do what you got to do for your friends and family. Peace and blessings.